Namaskar, and you are all welcome for this episode of MANOVAAC. Here is the first question.
Guruji, many gurus and saints say that we should not do charity. We should do charity as it is a good way of balancing karma. But many also say that we shouldn't, as we should not interfere with the destiny of those destined to suffer. This question comes from Shruti Nanda.
Okay. I don't know which guru says what, because I only follow my guru. But see, there's something you must understand about doing charity. It's, I think, mandatory for every human being to give away some part of their wealth or their prosperity and share it with their fellow human beings. This is absolutely mandatory. But if you think that, okay, I can do every negative karma in the world and then I will give a whole lot of money in charity and I am free. It doesn't work that way. That is a misconception. And a lot of people have this complete ignorance about how it works. Whatever charity you do, you will definitely get the benefit of that good karma, because somebody you've made happy, somebody you've given relief to, you will get your share of that karma. But that does not square off the negative karma that you've incurred. It is not like a bank balance where your debit and credit and you have a net balance in the outer column. It's not like that. It doesn't square off. Karmas don't square off. Positive karmas are to be enjoyed. Negative karmas are to be suffered. That is the principle. There is no netting off. So this concept that, okay, you do a lot of charity so that all your past bad deeds and all the negative karmas that you incurred are going to get wiped out because of that, that is not happening.
I think the question is not that, Guruji. So suppose a person is destined to suffer. By helping that person, am I?
No, I'm coming to that.
Achha.
That is the second part of it.
Right.
This is the first part of the question.
Whether we should do charity.
Whether you should do charity or not. Of course you should do charity, but not because it's going to wipe out your negative karma. You will get the benefit of that charity, whatever you've done, as a positive karma, and you will have to suffer for whatever negative karmas you have. They are not going to get squared off. There's going to be no net balance of karmas. So that part is not relevant. That's not true.
And one must do charity.
One must do charity. It is absolutely imperative to do charity, because it creates a sense that material prosperity does not belong to me. It belongs to the universe. It's absolutely not ours as ownership. We are just trustees of wealth. Whatever amount of wealth you have, whether you're one of the top 3 billionaires of the world, or you've got a small hut and you're living on a daily wage, all that, everything belongs to the universe. And the universe can give it to you and take it away at any point of time. So wealth is never in our hands. Yes, it is there in your destiny, in potential. So you can fulfill a certain amount of potential for that and bring in that prosperity, or you may make the wrong decisions and not get in that potential. That is a different thing. But sharing that prosperity is very important to understand that nothing belongs to you ultimately. So therefore, that concept of charity is propagated. That yes, you must do charity, you must share your prosperity. And also from a very human point of view, how much can one person enjoy? How much can you eat? How much can you live in luxury? I mean, there is a finite limit to it. Beyond the point, everything is superfluous, completely superfluous. Even your wealth is superfluous. It's just a figure. It's just on paper. I mean, you've got one body, you've got one stomach. How many things can you enjoy at one point of time?
Sure.
So a large amount of wealth is completely superfluous. Therefore, at least alleviate another person who's struggling and bring those people out of their misery. I mean, that way you are investing your wealth better than putting it into a bank or in stocks or in a business or something like that. So,
I think it's not only that, you tend to think little like beyond your family.
Yeah.
And
you think more universally.
I know. So it develops.
Of course it develops. Because normally your family you take care of it anyway.
Yeah, and you splurge so much on them. And when it comes to giving little bit to somebody, you think 1,000 times. So I think it makes us more human and makes us thinking, go beyond the selfish nature of humankind, which only likes to hoard things.
True.
And
and the second part, second part, that are you interfering with somebody's karma or suffering? No, you are not. Because the potential of help is always there in the blueprint of the person who's suffering. Therefore, when you help a person who's suffering, you are only opening up that potential. If that potential wasn't there, you would not come in contact with a person who's suffering. That person who's suffering. So when you help out a person who is, or by doing some kind of charity or any kind of charity, you are not interfering in their karma. You are opening a potential which is there for help. And we always have these potentials in our destiny where when we are down and out, when we are absolutely miserable, somebody comes and lifts you out and takes you out from your misery. That potential is there. So it's not interference in a person's destiny.
And suppose I refuse, there are 1,000 ways to make it happen. Universe can choose somebody else.
It does. It does. If that potential exists, somebody will come into your life and help you out at that point of time.
So it makes it matter of free will actually, Guruji, charity. Because
of course it's a matter of free will, entirely free will. I mean, you can say yes or you can say no. And I mean, you can part with your wealth or you cannot part with your wealth. Entirely a question of free will, 100% free will.
And free will to do something good.
To do something good and to help humanity in some way. I mean, you may not help like thousands and millions of people. Even if you help 2, 3, 5 people around you, that's charity.
Generally, this is the excuse that people get. Oh, let me get enough, then I can think
of
charity.
That is escapism. That is not an excuse for not doing charity. That is when you don't want to do charity and you want to justify yourself. You say, I don't have enough to do charity. That's patent nonsense.
It's the mindset. You can always give 1 rupee also.
Exactly. Even if you have 10 rupees, you can give 5 rupees or you can give 2 rupees. That's a different thing.
Guruji, if God does everything, then why do bad things happen?
If God does everything, why do bad things happen?
God is. You see,
this is the thing. No? As I said earlier, we love to blame God. No, God doesn't do everything. God is a witness. The forces of divinity do help us. They do run the planet. But the problems we get into, the situations, painful situations we get into, is entirely due to our own making. Whether it's in the past or in the present, but they are entirely due to our own making. God does not give out punishment. God does not want you to suffer. God does not control or micromanage anybody's life. In fact, all He does is sometimes through grace lift you out of the worst moments of your life. That God does, not give you suffering and punish you and say, okay, now the things have gone bad, good for you, take it. It's not that. That is our own working. It's, well, you can say, you're the only person responsible for whatever mess you are in. So it's not God doing everything. And God does nothing.
Yeah, He's a witness. There's a lot of this saying that why do bad things happen to good people?
So that is the saying. I mean, yeah, because you're good now, but you were not good previously when you incurred that karma. So now bad things are going to happen to you, even if you're a good person today.
And now if you do good,
then you will get rewarded for that. Yes, you will get rewarded for that. I mean, you will. It's automatic. It's not that somebody comes and gives you a prize for being good. No, it's automatic. I mean, that law of karma
You
works.
sow the seed and
You reap the harvest.
and
Exactly.
harvest doesn't come immediately.
No,
Many times people
that's
think
not in
if
your
I have
hands.
done,
That's not in your hands. When you will reap the harvest is not in your hands. That the universe decides.
Sowing seed is in our
Sowing
hands.
seed is in your hands.
Good or bad. So we have to
Whichever.
be careful. Another very interesting thing is, Guruji, now since I tend to look at things in a very different way because of all the teachings that you have imparted. What exactly is bad? People think accident is bad, death is bad, illness is bad. So they sort of think all these things should not happen. And if these things are happening, that something bad is happening. For me, I feel okay. Mera karja khatam ho raha hai. I'm learning some lesson. So is it really good or bad?
No, there's no good or bad is a very subjective thing. There's nothing is good and bad. Yes, positive, negative is there. Negative is when you are inflicting pain, it's negative. When you're inflicting suffering, it's negative. When you're cheating somebody, it's negative. These are negative things. They will have negative consequences. Otherwise, rest everything is good or neutral. There are neutral things also. There's neutral karma also.
In fact, majority times
we are neutral karma.
Only.
Yeah, where we are doing action which is karma neutral. This is neither positive nor negative.
Negative or positive.
So good and bad is a very subjective.
This comes from maybe fear of pain, Guruji. When we suffer pain, we feel ki something bad is happening to me.
Or it's a condition. It's a mental condition to look at a crisis negatively.
Yes.
That every crisis has got negative implications. No, it doesn't. Some crises are necessary in life, and the people have to die. And you can't keep living forever. Absolutely. So it's not negative in that sense, but it's part of how you accept life.
Thanks to you, Guruji, I have faced major challenges or major crisis, and the entire perception handling was very, very different because whatever you have taught.
You change your perception, you change your life.
And
it's as
absolutely simple. There was pain, I won't say. But it just went away immediately the moment balance came.
Yes. Correct. Yeah, I agree. Pain does hit you for that momentary time that you face a certain situation. But your real spiritual progress and your strength lies in coming out of it very quickly. If you get stuck in it, then that means you have not progressed. Then you're stuck.
And somewhere that we can't separate ourselves from human thinking and thinking as a soul. So each time I have to remind that I have to think like a soul, not as a human being, because human mind has a lot of limitations. And we have this
a lot of conditioning.
It's
very poor conditioning. That
idea of perfect life is I should have perfect parents. I should have perfect life in the terms of success, achievements, job, money. Then I should get a perfect wife.
I think that crashes by 30, 35. that idea that you
hope
have a perfect life.
Hope doesn't die.
Hope doesn't die. No, but hope should be there. Don't worry. Hope should be there. But the idea that life is perfect, I think by 30 that idea is completely smashed.
I know, but still we want to make life perfect. The whole entire energy is diverted into making
that
it
is
perfect.
Human nature. That is human nature. And good because they strive towards bettering themselves.
Bettering in what terms, Guruji? It
depends. That depends on where you're stuck, in what area of life you're stuck.
So, for me, it was just change your perception and everything is good only.
Absolutely. Most times it works that way.
It works that
you
way.
Change your perception, change the way you look at life, and half or more of your problems
are gone. Most of the time, we only invite more problem than they are in our blueprint. Any questions on this regard? Yes, Nirija.
We spoke about karma, individual karma, but unfortunately, we may get dragged into a collective karma, like as a group of people working in an office or probably in a family, probably. So, probably you're just dragged into it, and there can be no way that you can go out of it. So, does that happen, and how to solve it or get out of it?
Yeah, there are group karmas. There are completion of group karmas, but group karmas are momentary, and they come, in a short span of time, and go away. They don't persist for a long time. If it's persisting from a long time, then it is individual karma, not group karma. Group karmas come in in spurts. At one time, everyone suffers together and then it's over. But if the suffering is prolonged, then it is individual karma.
Sarang, you wanted to ask?
I had a question regarding charity. As a sadhak, I have understood that you have to do charity. You can do as much as you want. I've understood all that. I want to know if there is any kind of percentage or probable options, like so much percent should be given minimum or so much should be given. Is there any parameter like that?
There are no set parameters actually, but from from a thumb rule, a normal person who's not even a sadhak or not something should at least part with 5% of their income or wealth. A sadhak who's really taking the benefit of universe's the benevolence should part with at least 25%. I'm saying the least low figure. I mean, then you can go higher than
Higher
that,
than that.
but 25%.
Like for Guruji, it's 90% out, 10% for him.
No, that is a choice. That is
So,
choice.
That
is choice.
But each individual, like family person, may have different.
Yeah, you may have liabilities. You may have responsibilities. So you can adjust between 5 and 25%. It's fine.
So part question was, which you already answered, that at certain level of sadhana or the way we proceed in Kriya Yoga, does this percentage keep changing?
It
or
will,
should go
because
higher eventually?
yes, as you keep progressing in your sadhana, that percentage will automatically change.
You
And
want
that
to
when the
give
time
more.
comes, you do it. It's like that.
And at one stage, Guruji, it doesn't feel that we are giving. It feels that
At
it's
one stage, you will not even feel it's your wealth.
wealth. Yes.
And at that time, you will give 100% and say, "Mera hai hi
Big
nahi."
nahi. Absolutely. Okay.
Your question.
Okay, my turn now. Many old religions have existed on our planet in history at different times in different parts of the world. But over the time, they have all vanished and new ones have surfaced. However, Sanatan Dharma has always been the foundation of religion in India for thousands and thousands of years. How come it's not affected by time?
Yeah, I know. This might sound a little partial and subjective, and it might sound as if I have a bias towards Sanatan Dharma, but by and large, religions last for a few thousand years, most religions. Then they fade out, they die out because the civilizations change. So with each civilizational change, the religions die out. Now, what has happened with Sanatan Dharma is that we have because the Sanatan Dharma is upheld by rishis and by saints on a more or less continuous basis without exposure to the changes on the planet or in the country, because there are a lot of these sages and saints who uphold Sanatan Dharma who don't come out in public. They remain, isolated, hidden. So wiping them out is very difficult. You get my point? And Sanatan Dharma, by and large, is, as I said, it's a universal code of conduct. So it does not restrict itself to a doctrine,
one book
or dogma, or one book,
or one person,
or is dependent on one Messiah or one prophet. So what happens is its longevity is perpetual, and it does not ebb and flow with the changing times. So even if the civilizations change, even if the political situations change, even when there are upheavals, or even when there are intruders in the country, Sanatan Dharma does not die. It is because it is held by these great rishis who are not in public life, who are not in the thick of human activity.
But they work at grassroots level. They keep it
They
alive.
can keep at any level. They may work at grassroots level. They may work at isolated level.
Okay.
They may work at any level. That is not up to us to decide.
We won't
We
know
don't
how
know.
they are working.
We don't know. But they keep it alive and safe. And periodically, when they see the effect of Sanatan Dharma ebbing, they come out and propagate it. Like how Adi Shankaracharya, how he came and propagated it and brought it alive. How Babaji has kept it alive for so many years, by making so many gurus and helping
So
people
all
to
these saints and sages like Yogananda, Vivekananda,
whoever it is,
or
whoever it
Ramakrishna
is.
Paramahansa, you call them Sanatani.
They are Sanatani. They are not Hindus. See, Hinduism is a very political term. And it's a very recent term. I mean, like maybe 500 years back, it was coined as Hinduism. So before that, it was not known as Hinduism. It was Sanatan Dharma. And yeah, you can call them Sanatanis, you can call them whatever you want. But this is a more political and a recent phenomenon.
Okay. So,
but they uphold it over the ages, over thousands of years.
So can we say spirituality is Sanatan and Sanatan is spirituality?
Entirely.
And
no, Sanatan includes or encompasses spirituality primarily.
That's why maybe it
doesn't go out of style. It doesn't go out of fashion. It doesn't become irrelevant. Many religions become irrelevant over a period of time due to societal changes and social changes. Whereas Sanatan Dharma doesn't depend on that.
Because purity and refinement, how can it go?
How can it go out of style?
Out of style. At any stage, every human being needs
to do that. Exactly. So that is why it is in perpetuity.
And somebody is preserving it or keeping
100%,
it going.
100%.
Do you call yourself Sanatani, Guruji?
100%.
And that is
if my guru is Sanatani, then I have to be Sanatani.
So your teachings are more in alignment with Sanatan Dharma. Even if you are teaching Kriya Yoga or other things.
Whatever it is. I mean, I don't give it a name. That's all.
Okay. So these are the means, rather.
The means to an end. The means to an end.
Okay. Anybody has any question about Sanatan Dharma? Okay, great. That was lovely having a conversation with you, Guruji. And thank you for enlightening and addressing our silly questions as well.
They're not silly by any standard. They're very significant.
Thank you so much. And we end this episode here. Thank you so much for joining us.